Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, how are my snipers doing today? I hope you guys are doing fantastic. Listen, today we're talking about the one and only ICP. We can see, ladies and gentlemen, in the last 7 days, we have gone up roughly 12%. On the month, we are only up 2.5%, but this should not be a surprise because we know overall ICP has just been in a range, right? It's just been kind of in a range, but there is a purpose and a reason for this range, which we will discuss very, very soon. We can see we are ranked currently right now 39 in the world, $5.61 price, 3 billion market cap, and 85 million volume in the last 24 hours. Now, here's the deal, people, right? ICP has been in a range for some time. And, you know, I believe things are looking to burst out very, very soon. You know, when people buy crypto or they look at the charts, they always think, hey, I should have bought down here. Oh, this looks like the most obvious spot to buy. And for me, I believe that time is now. Those types of sayings will be happening when, ICP pumps high, very, very high, and someone in the future is going to be looking at this huge price range pretty much from March up until, let's just say, even mid of August, being, wow, I've had months to accumulate ICP and I didn't, right? It's going to seem like the most obvious play. But ladies and gentlemen, I know there's a fair few people out there that are still, waiting and needing that confirmation and are seeing and looking, hey, will ICP go down lower? And my answer is absolutely not, right? Absolutely not. For me, these are pretty much the ICP lows. You know, we really even shouldn't see price below 482 ever again, 467, 434, like never ever again. And I'm being super, super honest. I'm going to break down why that's the case with technical analysis. But ladies and gentlemen, this sideways movement, I believe it's similar to what happened before ICP started to go up. Yes, obviously not on the same scale in terms of how long it's been going sideways, but there's a reason why ICP has been going sideways for a couple of months now. Okay, it's because it's building a floor and ultimately it is looking to solidify this price as its floor and then to pump up. And we can even see there's proof that it is going to pump very, very soon. You could go play back my other ICP videos, but I did say in the beginning of August that I do expect some type of fake out sellout, which we did get, right? We did get pretty much late July to beginning of August. We got a little bit of a sell off, right? Saw a fake out. We also not only did get a fake out, but we pretty much covered the last of the imbalance over here, meaning that ICP doesn't have any single imbalance. It doesn't have any or any other, what is it called? Non-fundamental features to it right now. Everything you see on ICP is fundamental. It's all covered up. There's no zone that needs to be covered. There's no zone that's problematic. If you guys don't know, the markets really do love being fundamental and they start to get really, really fundamental when it's time to reverse. Okay, because they don't want any pullback correction. They don't want to correct anything. And that is just the reality. We can also see when we go on the price action, ladies and gentlemen, that we did break structure, right? A couple of weeks ago, we did create a higher high. We can see the blue candles on top are the highs, which were getting lower and lower each time, right? Getting lower and lower. Boom. So we were getting lower. You can see the bottom of the black candles are pretty much the lows, right? So we can see we had a triple low. And eventually we got to a point where we had to make a choice, right? Back in the end of June, we had to make a choice because we had a floor over here. So we had a floor over here at 484 and we had a roof at 507. So we needed to make a choice and we did. We bursted up. 1 week we went to 544, we closed. And then the next week we bursted all the way pretty much up to $6. So we can see that the roof, it was a new high roof, the highest roof we had practically since, when was this? Since late February, right? And then when we did sell off, we still created a higher floor, right? We created a higher floor of 511 compared to the floor of 484. So for me, this is just an indicator that we are really looking to start breaking to the upside very, very soon. especially that this weekly candle right now is really just not, they're showing very little signs of selling pressure, right? We got a little bit of selling pressure on the Sunday and Monday, but we can see Tuesday is already back up. And I would not be surprised if, worst case scenario, we kind of go sideways for this week. Maybe we end up around $6. I would not be surprised if by the end of this week or next week, we already come back to these high areas of 621 because we are looking to be bursting out, right? We did say beginning of August, more or less, we're going to sell off. After that, we're going to start recovering. And for sure, by the end of July, or sorry, by the end of August, I expect at least at the bare minimum to get to 757, if not higher, right? 757 at least at the bare minimum. So, things are looking good. Things are looking on track. You know, I'm really, really optimistic right now. The markets are looking good too. Bitcoin at around 120,000, just lingering. Look, people, this could be the end times for Bitcoin. I'm not going to lie, right? This could be the end times. We did go into an order block over here, and we are selling off for Bitcoin. And, Bitcoin dominance is struggling. The end signs, the beginning of the end times are here, right? The signs are there. We have the others chart, which is pretty much crypto, right? Which is pretty much altcoins, right? Even though they are going down a little bit, right? The structure, we are also getting squeezed. So we have to make a choice. If we do squeeze the upside, that means Bitcoin dominance did break. That means altcoin dominance starts to go up, which ultimately means, ladies and gentlemen, we know we are just on the verge of altcoins really start seeing some type of money and life into them, especially that there's also a lot of signs that we are going to start expanding, right? We're going to start really expanding with how much money is going to be coming into the markets. We also do have, pretty much in September, we do have the rate cuts for America, right? If I go all the way to September, there's going to be rate cuts in America on a day. I'm not exactly sure when, but ultimately it is expected that it's going to be a rate cut, which ultimately means, ladies and gentlemen, that we would expect huge pumps, right? And with everything going the way it's going, the way it's trending, I expect ICP to start seeing some serious, serious pumps. And I expect, you know, for the markets to really start going crazy. I don't know exactly when this is, but I'll find out soon. Oh, actually, it could be on. It's usually on a Wednesday. This is a Tuesday, so it's usually on a Wednesday. So yeah, so on the 17th, ladies and gentlemen, a month from now, it is expected to start pumping and have a huge rally because we do expect rate cuts to be had, right? Boom. Right now it says 450, but when I checked before, it did say a 95% chance for a rate cut. So yeah, ladies and gentlemen, I overall expect ICP to continue to go to the upside. I overall expect very, very bullish things on this crypto. I would not be surprised, before you know it, we're going to be at $15, $20 once again. I know some people are very pessimistic about this coin, but for me, there's no reason to be pessimistic, right? For me, we've been just going sideways for a long time because I do believe there's a reason why I've been going sideways for a long time because I expect huge, massive rallies. We talked about this before, where we kind of have something similar. We go on something like the weekly, boom, right? We have one top, two top, one top, two top. We have a support. We have a support. We have a sell off. We have some sell off. We try to go up and we go down. We try to go up and then we go down and then we go sideways, right? And then we go sideways and eventually we start breaking up slowly and then eventually we start going fast, right? So slowly and then fast. But this time when we go fast, we're going to go past these highs. We probably will go into this nice support, this resistance over here, right? We have a resistance plus we have an order block over here at $32 before we see some type of sell off, probably back down to 20. And then from 20, we'll probably go shoot all the way to 75, upwards of 90 in terms of the realism spectrum. But that is it, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you guys did enjoy. I'll talk to you guys next time. Goodbye.